All right. Solo show today, which is interesting. Um, I used to be kind of terrified at the thought of having a weekly meeting and nobody showing up. And I love it when people do. So know that before I make this next statement. But I'm actually glad no one is here today because um, there's a message that I want to share. And I think speaking it solo feels appropriate right now. So don't take that as, hey, don't show up to the future meetings because honestly, the people in this group make these calls what they are. And I'm really grateful for it. And I know other people are as well. But what I want to talk about today, I went for a hike this morning. And when I get a chance to spend some time out in nature, it feels like medicine to me. And things become clearer there than they do in many other aspects of my life. So I'm really grateful anytime I get the chance to do that. And I was thinking about fatherhood and where the opportunity lies for us as dads. And one of the opportunities that I think holds a ton of value. It's definitely not the opportunity, but one of them is, and I'll give a I'll give a warning. There might be some salty language throughout the talk today because it's about owning our shit. And I'll take a step back for just a second. And I think the work that we get to do as fathers, that we have the opportunity to do, because it truly is like a gift. It can feel like a really heavy responsibility at times, but when you can put your head above water and step back and think about it, it really is a gift. I think there's like two sides of the coin when it comes to the work that we can do. And one side is mostly what this community up to this point has been focused on, which is being intentional, right? That's on the positive side of the coin. It's nice to talk about. And there is a tremendous amount of value there. The majority, in my opinion, of the value lies there. But on the other side of the coin, there's an opportunity for us to own our shit. And what do I mean by that? Whatever baggage that we're bringing to the table, that we're bringing into conversations. Last week in our meeting, we talked about the lens through which we perceive and experience life, or that we perceive or experience interactions outside of the home or inside. And our life's history is what built that lens. Trauma, happiness, expectations, it's all in there. And so when something objective happens, I may see it one way and you will see it another. Sometimes the way we see it or perceive it may be lined up, and so it kind of feels the same. But other times it may be drastically different. So we're bringing stuff with us to everything. Even the way that we occupy space and the thoughts that we have in our head, we're bringing that to the moment, even if nothing seems to be happening. Even if we're just sitting in silence, we've brought that with us. Because maybe it affects what we do or don't do, or what we say or don't say. And so, when we start to go down the path of owning our shit, the first step is admitting that we've got shit. And it's not always easy because we're not proud of it. And it's not always easy to see either because it's been with us for a really long time. But when we tell ourselves that we want to look for it because we know the value in owning it and changing it, when we decide to look for it, we will start to see it. We are making ourselves available to see it. I think that our minds, and I didn't come up with this, but our minds want to be right because when our mind thinks that it's right, it feels safe. It's like, aha, I told you, just like I thought it'd be. So it's like, cool. My mind has got my back. It proves it to me when it's right. I had a sneaking suspicion that this would happen, and it did. I knew it. Well, for that statement to be true, we're looking for it. We've told ourselves that it's likely that it's going to happen. And so we're keeping an eye out for it. And so when there is evidence that points to our mind being right, we're looking for that evidence. And so it can latch onto it and say, okay, cool. Yeah, right again. We are feeling good. We are safe. So it's hard for us to see our behavior sometimes objectively. Most of the time, it's hard to see. And there are ways that we can not only see it ourselves, but we can also employ other people around us that we trust to help us see those moments. And that's not always easy to do either. But again, when we see the value opportunity that is there, it makes that hurdle a little bit easier to climb over because it's like, I know this might suck, but I know the value's there. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to embrace the suck. And so you ask people around you, hey, I want to work on this. Or, hey, what am I not seeing? I want to be blank for my kids. Fill in the blank with whatever is the most important 3 things for you as a dad. And ask somebody that sees you as a father and that you trust and say, I want you to tell me when you see things that don't align with those 3 words that I just gave you. I want help seeing this. And that alone, if and when you do that, holy shit, that starts to change things instantly because you've owned it. You haven't even found it yet, but you're owning the fact that there's stuff there. That's acceptance. It's a big deal. Because if we don't own our shit, we can't change it. And so what happens if we don't change it? We pass it down. And just know that there's no judgment here. I've got my stuff too. I've got my shit. And the thought of passing that down to my kids feels incredibly heavy. Because the things I carry around will not help them live a rich and meaningful life. It will not help them move freely through life to just soak up everything that is truly there. But instead, it acts like a weight or like an anchor that they have to drag around with them. It slows them down and it tires them out. And when I think about the fact that if I don't own my shit, that I'm giving it to them, it breaks my heart. I don't want that. And I'm willing to do the work. And I'm willing to be vulnerable and ask people around me to point things out that I might not be able to see. So there's an opportunity waiting for us all when it comes to this. And today's call, I had to adjust the time because it's my kid's last day of school, and we got a little get off the bus celebration that we do every year, and I need some time to get prepared for that. And normally this call would be ending like a minute or two before my oldest gets off the bus. So I changed the time this week, and um, the call was going to be different in that it was an invitation for people to show up and talk through something that's challenging them. And I think I'll still do that. And you can let me know if you watch this call and you think there'd be value in that. Let me know. I would love to get some feedback there. But maybe it's a mix of some of these calls being, planned out with a topic and an agenda that feels to hold value for people, and other ones where it's an open space and people can show up and talk about what's hard. I see tremendous value in both. But if I'm being honest, I see way more value in the latter. In someone, and maybe it's the next time we do it, or maybe not, but somebody will show up here and they're going to raise their hand and they're going to say, this is what I'm going through. It's really hard. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to dive in and we're going to explore. And we'll see what's there. I'm good at it. That's what I do. As a coach, I'm certified and I'm good at it. And someone will show up and take me up on that offer. And I look forward to that. But I would never ask anybody to do me a favor and show up to do that. Somebody would need to feel called to do it. But the value's there if and when you're ready. So, if you made it this far, good for you. I'm proud of you for taking your precious time and listening to something like this. And maybe nobody hears this. And oddly, I'm so okay with that because I've gained value just by putting this out into the ether because I'm so goddamn proud of this message in the work that I do with people. It's life-changing. It's life-changing for us as dads, and it will change the experience that our kids have of us as dads, and we can teach them differently than we were taught. We get to be intentional with it, not in autopilot, not in survival mode, not in looking around us and seeing what everybody else is doing around us and using that as the measuring stick for what makes a good dad. I'm not interested in that. I've got my own ideas of what being a good dad means to me. And I want you to feel just as strongly about that as I do. And I don't want you to adopt my beliefs. I want you to be crystal clear on yours. And then I want you to knock down anything that is getting in the way from stepping fully into that. Because you're worth it. Your kids are worth it. So let's take advantage of the opportunity. Whether you hear this or not, I got love in my heart for you. You're here. And that says something. I hope you have an awesome day. If you watch this and have thoughts on it, you can throw it in the comments. If you want to share something a little bit more personal, feel free to reach out via a direct message. And I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful day.